There are 5 identities served by call signs. Number 1, community. An important distinction of the organization of pilots in the Navy is that there are 3 pipelines coming out of primary flight training, which is your first 25 or so graded hops, after which you go to jets, props, or helicopters. The grades given in primary flight are critical for the student naval aviator who may have his or her heart set on a dream objective. Dream objectives can be astronaut, carrier-based jets, land-based propeller aircraft, or helicopters. Candidly, the best grades go to the jet pipeline from which astronauts emerge, and once jet slots are filled, the rest of the class go to props or helos. Exceptions occur, certainly, when the number 1 student desires props or helos. Those requests will likely be honored since they come from the heart of the requester who has the best grades. Number 2, reputation. From day 1 in your community, you begin to establish a reputation that you carry throughout your years. Unlike the Air Force, where a pilot is a pilot is a pilot, the Navy cannot take any helicopter pilot and adapt him to flying jets aboard the carrier. Likewise, a land-based propeller pilot cannot be retrained to fly helicopters in a carrier-based environment. What it boils down to is that the demands of carrier flight operations is so critical that even among seasoned pilots, there is a constant assessment of suitability. Number 3, courtesy. Having been in the civilian world for decades following my Navy years, I have learned that all the services teach courtesy. Courtesy that works not only up the line to seniors, but also down the line to subordinates. In fact, it is the responsibility of all ranks to observe and counsel peers and subordinates if they should cross the line of abusive exercise of rank. Civilians are less likely to do so in an equivalent business setting. Number 4, behavior. Ah, yes. So if you're a liberty risk, i.e. you go crazy when you're ashore, then you may soon find yourself earning a call sign. We have all been there. But if the consequence of going berserk is all too frequent or crazy, then an admonishment may be earned as well, not a career-enhancing event. Number 5, tactical. Now to the nitty-gritty of call signs. Fighters engage in air-to-air operations called air combat maneuvering, ACM. During a dogfight with an aggressor aircraft, simulated or real, a pilot is responsible for minding situational awareness and clearing the blind spot of his wingman, his 6 o'clock. Call signs are usually single or double syllable, such that critical radio transmissions can be clear and quick. Snort, brake right, bogey, right 5, high. You get the idea. My own experience earning a call sign was unusual because I was sent to an F-4 Phantom Squadron, VF-103 Sluggers, while it was in the Mediterranean aboard the carrier Saratoga. When you consider that all squadrons have 2 months of air crew workups before going to sea for a cruise, having a nugget pilot fly commercial air overseas to walk aboard the ship is a daunting risk. As far as the Sluggers were concerned, I was an FNG, as in effing new guy. Not surprisingly, I was paired with Rams as my backseat Rio, probably the highest regarded Rio in the squadron. Rams was a lieutenant junior grade like me and winding down his first sea tour with only a couple of months left. Also, the air group commander had ordered that I would fly days only, preferably twice, until further notice. In retrospect, this was a welcome adjustment for not having made workups with the rest of the Sluggers. Next, I was informed that my call sign was Rita, after Rita Hayworth, the 1940s ingenue and screen actress. I think it was because my response was, Rita, okay by me. It didn't stick. As a kid, I grew up as Gordo, and everybody in the squadron called me Gordo, so Gordo became my call sign. I remember someone in the squadron reflecting on my first 2 or 3 months in the squadron, during which I purposefully kept my mouth shut and ears open to learn the personalities and the political dynamic of my fellow officers. In the 3 years I spent in the squadron, gosh knows I had enough colorful experiences to earn an armload of call signs. Maybe I did, but was never aware, eh? Two call signs of note, 6-0 Joe and TBK. 6-0 Joe, a Nugget Rio at the time, earned his call sign one night on approach for landing when he called 6-0 as fuel state. The LSO, hearing 6-0, which is 200 pounds over the 5'8" maximum fuel state for a Phantom to land aboard the ship, immediately waved them off, which even got the Saratoga's captain upset at a blown night recovery, not to mention Joe's pilot, who had to go around in the bolter pattern to set up another night approach. TBK, Tom Bomb K, was normally of calm demeanor, but when tested, could be short-fused. While giving a presentation one day in the ready room, he stumbled on a technical point and was getting peppered with questions until, at one point, everybody started with tick, tick, tick. It is said that if you get a call sign that you don't like, it's definitely going to stick. Often a call sign comes from some bonehead statement or event. When I went through Top Gun, one of the Rios on staff was call sign White Shoes, which he earned because he had the nerve or unfortunate taste to wear white shoes with a leisure suit to a squadron party. Even in the late 70s, polyester leisure suits and white shoes were probably never quite cool. I distinctly remember thinking to myself just after over 50-day landings that I was beginning to feel comfortable, not complacent, in the day landing pattern. I am grateful for the day-only initiation directed by the air group commander. Soon there was a change of command, and the new commander directed that everyone flies nights. I remember the first night hop, which was a sunset launch with Biba, the safety officer, in my back seat. Biba as in bring them back alive. Easy for you to say. I remember, as if it were just last night, being aware of the pulse in my neck as I'm coming in at 3/4 of a mile on the approach. Biba called the ball, and I'm mesmerized to the mantra, meatball, line up, angle of attack, until wham, we're home. What a relief. Taxi forward, chalked, chained, shut down. As soon as I stood on the flight deck, my legs felt like licorice. Biba said, "See, no sweat." I thought to myself, you'll never know. And thus began my unfiltered flying in carrier ops. I hit the 2-wire on a fair pass, June 4th, 1976.